Hello students, and this is the second video in our continuing lesson on solving rational equations, and as you can see I've created a more difficult problem here. And when we have a problem like this, again, rational equations have variables in the denominator, and when we have something that's a quadratic like this, one thing we want to do is factor denominators, okay, if possible. It may not be possible at all, but just in case it's possible. So this is still 2x, x minus 1. This certainly cannot be factored any further. This is 1 over x plus 3. But this can actually be factored. X squared minus 4x plus 3 is x minus 1 times x minus 3. And when we do it this way, we see that these two factors here, x minus 1, x plus 3, is contained in here. So now it allows us to, we are able to recognize here that the lowest common denominator is in fact x minus 1 times x minus 3. And we need to convert all fractions to the lowest common denominator. So for this first fraction, I already have an x minus 1, so I need to multiply it by x minus 3. But to maintain the equality of that statement, I need to multiply it by x minus 3 over x minus 3. And here, let me change this plus sign, go over there, give me some more space. I have to do x minus 1 over x minus 1. Okay. And I'm going a little bit fast here because I'm hoping that, this video is intended for pre-calculus, maybe Algebra 2 students, but this material should have been covered at least in Algebra 1, so I'm going a little bit fast here. But if you have a hard time with this, just send me an email or contact your teacher, and I'll be sure to post another video where we go a lot slower through all of the little concepts. Okay. All right, so now what do we have here? Well, we have 2x times x minus 3 over x minus 1 times x minus 3 plus x minus 1 over x minus 1 times x minus 3, which is equal to 2 x minus 1 x minus 3. Okay. Now, since all of the denominators are the same, we can quote-unquote clear out the denominators. So we can multiply all terms by the LCD. So if I'm going to multiply this term here by the LCD, this is going to go away. If I multiply this term here by the LCD, this is going to go away, and this is going to go away. In other words, if all of the denominators are the same, then we can just clear them out because we're really multiplying everything by the lowest common denominator. And now what you see on the what's remaining here, I'm going to distribute this here just to save myself some space. I get 2x squared minus 6x plus x minus 1 equals 2. To clean this up, combine some of the like terms. I have 2x squared minus 5x. Subtract 2 from both sides, get negative 3. And I can factor this. I'm going to use the Australian method. So this is negative 6 on top, negative 5 here. Two numbers that multiply to give you negative 6 but add to give you negative 5 is, of course, negative 6 and 1. So this gives me 2x minus 6 over 2 times 2x minus 3 over 2. I'm sorry, the whole thing should be over 2. So it's this statement, over 2. Okay, equals 0. Of course, I can factor out 2 from here. I'm sorry, we can factor out that. And these two cancel. So now I have x equals 3 and x equals 3. Oh, I'm sorry, I don't know why I put a 3. I should have put a 1. That's my mistake. So x equals, should be plus 1. Ooh, it's been a long day. So x equals 3 and x equals negative 1/2. And so these are the solutions to the problem. But remember, for rational equations, you have to check for extraneous solutions. In other words, you have to take each of these numbers and substitute it back into the original equation to see if it actually works. And you can see, let's start out substituting in positive 3. Wait, I think I've goofed up somewhere. Oh, I know what I did. I wrote this wrong. This should have been a negative 3 from the beginning. I apologize for that. See, so up here I had a bunch of plus 3's, and then suddenly here I made it negative 3. So that's where I went wrong. That's going to change things just a little bit. Actually, in my solution, it's fine. It's just I wrote it wrong in the first 2 steps. Okay. So now when I take 3 and I substitute into here, you can see that it's going to lead me to divide by 0. Okay. So this is an extraneous solution. This is extraneous because it leads to division by 0, which we know is undefined. Okay? And so you can see the problem where this occurs is right here, right in this step where we suddenly clear out the denominator. Well, it's okay to clear out this denominator as long as it's non-zero. But if we had taken 3 and substituted into here, you can see that would have broken the function right away. Okay, so one thing you have to be careful about is whenever you're quote-unquote clearing a denominator, or when you have variables in the denominator, you have to check that your final answer actually works and that it does not lead to division by 0. Now, negative 1/2 really does work. I can actually try it. It's pretty tough to try it in this one. So I can actually try it in this function here. And the reason I can do that and skip the stuff in between is because I already canceled out the one that leads to division by 0. So if you use negative 1/2 in here, this is negative 1/2 squared, which is 1/4 times 2, which is 1/2, minus 5/2, which gives me 3, and then minus 3, which gives me 0. So this negative 1/2 really does work. I went over that really fast, so I'm going to let you kind of walk through this slowly on your own and take negative 1 and substitute in here and see what happens. Okay. All right, so here you have it, a pretty straightforward equation here from the beginning. But, you know, of course, the process to solving it is fairly difficult. We rely on these principles here, using the lowest common denominator, converting all fractions to using the LCD, and then multiplying all terms by the LCD. And of course, I'm going to write this in nice big bold letters. Check for extraneous. And I'm going to write this obnoxiously large because every single year my students forget to do this on their exams and on their quizzes. So hopefully you will break that trend. And you will not get caught by problems like these. As always, contact your teacher if you have a hard time. Thank you for watching and have a wonderful day.